Hello everyone. Something quite extraordinary is happening, so I thought I would share a live video of the event. If you work in logistics, supply chain management, or any sector reliant on human physical labor, the fundamental rules of the game just changed overnight. So what we are watching is actually a live stream of an experiment that has been going on for more than 24 hours, where you have a humanoid robot just, sorting objects. Well, sorting is kind of a broad term, but basically what it's doing, it's working with, boxes, but also objects, which can be of any random shape. And what it's trying to do is it's trying to make sure that the label faces down. And it's been running for a very long time, and you can see that it's all live, and they're not trying to hide any of the problems that the robot can encounter. Any kind of errors it's making, but you can see the number of packages that it has been able to deal with for a while. So that's quite interesting. So on May 13, 2026, the Figure AI CEO Brett Adcock went live on X and YouTube. They set up an incredibly straightforward experiment, but most people don't realize how massive the stakes are. So the goal was to prove that the new Figure 3 humanoid robot, which is powered by the Helix-02 AI system, could handle a full labor shift. And I think a full human labor shift, maybe it's around 9 hours. I'm not sure about this. But the robot has been able to blast through this duration, very easily. And obviously, if you're in robotics, you would perhaps be able to appreciate the resilience of these machines now. You don't see, any of the parts that make up the robot failing. Heating issues are not expressing themselves, and it's quite amazing to see that it's working. So I've been following that since yesterday, obviously not continuously. I thought it would maybe crash around, 5-6 hours, but it's still running on. And I'm wondering, how long this can continue. And, it turns out that I'm not the only one, because there are quite a lot of people who are betting on the Polymarket site, and you can see that right now around 25% of the people are betting that the robots would probably run, between 100 and 200 hours. So for people who may not know whether these tasks that the robot is doing is actually a real-world task, I've just included this clip here, where you can actually see workers, human workers, doing exactly the same task, on a conveyor belt. So this video has been sped up, obviously, but you can see that if you were to maybe have a line of humanoid robots in the same way as these humans are lined up, you would probably be able to fix any errors that happen. So what I like with this effort is that, and the fact that they are streaming it live, is that it really brings what is happening to a mass audience. This company has already given a lot of demonstrations where they actually show humanoid robots collaborating and solving tasks. Here you have two different robots working together to make the bed, for example. So these on the surface, these tasks may look simple, but the AI loop that needs to happen in real time, to connect what is seen with the actions that you need to perform in a very short period of time is not something that's easy to achieve. And I think it's whatever they are doing is groundbreaking. So when we look at these robots manipulating objects, the real nightmare is the deformable bags. These bags shift in your hand and their center of gravity changes constantly when you lift them. So grasping them requires dynamic micro-adjustments that have historically stumped automated systems. Yet this robot, Gary, figure-free robot, handled them seamlessly. So here are some maybe technical details that casual observers may gloss over. So all the processing, AI processing that's happening here is done locally. Okay, so in order to avoid, what you call cloud latency. So you don't have like a powerful brain somewhere, in a very powerful machine, and then you have to send all the visual data to that brain and have the instructions for moving, your hand effectors, your hands here. That would create a lot of latency. So everything happens locally. And the other thing is you can also observe that none of these humanoid robots are tethered. This means that they can really walk, and balance themselves. That's one of the first things that were achieved. So that's, as you can see, there's been like a number of improvements that accumulated in order to produce something that's resilient and that's going to last. That would allow the robots to work for a long time without failing. And what happens when they run low on power? They execute automatic battery swaps, to keep the transmission moving without human intervention. So that's how they very easily outlast, a standard human double shift, without requiring a single break. So if you think this milestone is just about picking up boxes, you need to look at, the broader scope of what this robot is able to do. So last week, when they released, this video of two robots basically trying to make the bed, it had a number of technical things that caught my attention. The two robots, they are not like, they are not obviously scripted in any way. There is no central coordinator telling robot A, okay, you do this, and then robot B, you do something else. So this collaboration happens just like how humans collaborate. Okay, each robot has to read each other's physical body language, and and they have to interpret physical cues to collaborate exactly the same way humans would do, on a crowded, chaotic factory floor. So if you combine all that spatial awareness with these whole body dexterity demonstrations, you can see how far we have reached in terms of humanoid robotics. And we do see that a lot of these developments also happens in a very local way, in very specialist labs all around, the world, especially in China, where you can see a lot of physical feats being carried out by these humanoid robots. And I'm pretty sure all these different things are going to come together in gel into, one big, powerful, humanoid robot. So all that is very impressive. So Figure is actually producing these robots in a massive factory. I think it's called BotQ facility, and they are producing, I can't remember the numbers, but I think 1 robot per day. Or is it much faster? Let me just check. All right, they are actually producing 1 Figure 03 robot every single hour. So these are not prototypes. These are actually, products that maybe industries will be able to buy. So it's 1 robot per day. It's like 1 baby born every day that's trained and ready to and grown and ready to work in a factory. So it's like 24 such robots being produced per day. And that's how the workforce will just grow. And it will be interesting to see what happens. So, of course, the economy of physical work is being, rewritten, as it were, right in front of us. And the question is no longer whether humanoids will take over the heavy lifting in our supply chains. I'm sure politicians are watching. Bernie Sanders is watching. AOC is watching. And there will be different political movements involved, and it will be the usual debates and that we've seen. Of course, Andrew Yang was right. I think maybe like 5 years ago. I can't remember. Maybe more, 10 years ago now. We didn't want to do the hard work then. So now we'll have to do the hard work of trying to figure out how to make sure, this is going to be beneficial for everyone and not, impact negatively, the lives of workers. So in this case, when we talk about radiologists and AI replacing radiologists, turns out that now there are more radiologists than ever, even if we have AI systems that beat radiologists at their task, which is looking at visualizations and imagery of patients and make a determination on their case, what's wrong, etc. So here, I don't know how this is going to empower workers. I see in this case more like a total replacement, unless, the workers have to get retrained and maybe get to involved in the maintenance of these humanoid robots. But certainly the factory would not need as many workers as maintainers. So all those are, interesting problems to look at. Obviously, for the decision makers, they are just, problems to look at. And for people working in those places, it's going to be much harder, obviously, because they don't have the bandwidth for sitting and figuring these things out, and they don't have, because most of that bandwidth will be consumed in how do I get my next meal. So the next question is, how fast, at least that question is for, factory owners, how fast your own operations will bottleneck if your competitors adopt this technology, while you wait on the sidelines, waiting for it to get just a little bit better. Okay, so that's I think moving forward, that's going to be the issue. So the technology is already there. There will be the bigger companies who have enough margin for doing experiments with this new technology. They will most probably start already, and gradually their workforce will obviously, in my view, be totally automated. Interesting times. So I hope to see you next time to share more amazing stories like this one. I really enjoyed, watching the humanoid developments, especially this year. Maybe slightly disappointed with Tesla, because I was expecting all these different things to happen, with the Optimus. But I guess, when you have a CEO who seems distracted a little bit, those are the kind of things that happen, So, well, that's the way it is. Okay, see you next time.